everybody. So I say it's gonna be a different video today. Hopefully we don't get copyrighted. I've got my daughter watching her cartoons this morning as we're getting going. Now that I'm turning back into a decent human being. So I thought it'd be kind of interesting today to bring you along on my day. Kind of what I have planned today, what I gotta do in the fish room today. So the main goal is to kind of show you a day-to-day basis of what I do in the fish room, right? I consider myself an amateur fish breeder. Oh, that's good. I don't think I've reached that master level. No, not by far yet. But that doesn't mean there's still not a lot of daily tasks that I take care of in the fish room. I thought it would be interesting to show all of you, to show you a day-to-day operation of the fish room. But we've also got some other things we got to go do today. So grab a cup of coffee, hang out for a minute. It may turn into a long video, and that's okay. But it's like I said, there will be some things today that's not gonna be a everyday task, but there's other things that will be. So let's go ahead and finish our anti-murder juice, and we'll get started with our day. So we're down here now in the fish room. Lights aren't on yet, right? Lights aren't on yet, so we got some things we gotta come do down here. We gotta get the first feeding in. So I like to do 2 to 3 times, or feed 2 to 3 times a day if I can, and then we kind of flip you around here. So we've definitely got some, we got some help this morning. Say hi, baby girl. Yeah, say me and the baby are, my sweetheart, we're hanging out together. So one thing I can do, the camera's gonna be freaking out here, because I have the auto water change system all set up and ready to go. Periodically, today I'm off, I'll typically come down and start a water change in the morning. So now I'm changing rack 1. Run that for, I don't know, 10-20 minutes or so. So that's changing. And yes, I have a pair of fish room slippers. It's the best. If my floor is dirty, I'm gonna turn that overhead fan off, get a little better. So yeah, lights are not on yet, so maybe a little dark in here. But now, this is rack 1. So every tank on this rack is getting changed right now. And then kind of a quick update is we've added 3 20 gallons to this wall. So it's kind of blocked our space back here, but we're working with that. So we're going to come down here and feed all the fish. And we're going to make sure that the little one doesn't wreck anything down here. But so feed everything, and everything kind of like the zebra plecos. Everything kind of gets different feedings, but the main thing we're gonna feed today, I think. What's up, dude? Let me get this chair out of the way. The main thing I think we're gonna feed today is gonna be the Nano Extreme. This feeds to like everything kind of on. It feeds everything rack 1. It feeds everything rack 3. And then I feed some different things for rack 2 that has the discus, some cichlids, the zebra plecos, and then we kind of specialize what we're doing there. So we're going to go ahead and feed everybody really quick. Say hi. Yeah. Sophie wanted to come help. So now we're gonna go back in the fish room again. So we just fed everything. Flip you around. I know my camera work's gonna be awesome here today, especially as I'm running around with my 2-year-old daughter here who wants to touch everything. All right, give me this arm. Okay, let's go back in the fish room. Let's go back in the fish room here. You want to come see? And she loves the fish room. She loves to feed the fish. She loves to see the fish. Squeeze her way in here. Alright, so we fed some extreme community peeweeds like the discus, the cichlids, and the plecos, the zebras. So the lights are still off. But one of the main things we do, and this is where I found out that like my rice fish are in quarantine right now, is just don't touch baby. We come around and we check all the fish to make sure there's no like casualties, make sure the fry are doing good, to make sure that if there's any new fry, like I'm expecting fry from the swordtails. I know everything's kind of dark right now because the lights are still off. We'll be back down here again today. So like once in the morning, I definitely kind of do my check around, make sure everything's as it should be, everything's running, and we go from there. Hey, stop. No, she wants the Murphy hat. Baby, he's watching over the fish room. So feeding only takes a couple minutes, but it's still something I try and do 3 times a day. So we'll be back down here in just a second and we're gonna go play. Alright, so we're back down here in the fish room. Just make sure that's recording. Back down in the fish room for the second time today. So this is again on the kind of the daily progress or just daily tasks that we're doing each day. Now that the lights are on all the tanks, I do kind of another once over, right? I make sure everything's looking good. I can clearly see the rams. God, I'm still hoping for some breeding there. Let me pull you off the tripod here for a minute. Sorry, this may get a little wonky, but I like to show you guys around and kind of what I'm working on, what we're doing here, and we'll throw you back on the tripod here in a second. So come up here, got the rams. Everyone's looking good in there. The females are fired up, the males fired up. I need to brighten that up a little bit maybe. Guppies are doing good, and then you can see the horde of the Kohaku swordtails over there in the corner. Endlers are coming back in for food. So again, I do kind of a quick once over. These tank lights are on. Fish are doing good. Come check out the discus. They're doing good. A little blown out there because that is a white background. Then we come back over here because again, like the Daisy rice fish, they're in quarantine right now. I have the date on there when I added the med trio. So I do a quick check on them. You can, that dude right there, he ran away. They're all covered in something, some crazy thing going on. The fish are still alive, so we're making progress. And then we come check on the swordtails. Everyone in here is doing really good. We're still expecting some fry to there. We got the longfin, lemon blue-eye plecos. So things are doing good. It's just a matter of just keep working on things. So let me put you back on the tripod here, and we will get into the other part of our day here that we're actually down here for. My camera will go back on. There we go. Okay, so now after we did the quick once over, kind of everything, checked on everything, it's the second feeding today. So again, because I'm off work today, I'm able to do 3 feedings. So we're gonna do the second feeding. I'm still very big on extreme. I love the extreme foods. I have a really good success with those. And that's actually what we're going to feed. Is I try and vary the diet a little bit in my fish room. So if I had the opportunity to, I'm a little blown out here. There we go. I really like the krill flake. I just ran out of it right now. I think I have some upstairs. I just forgot to bring it down. But I do like to also feed the spirulina flakes. Now I feed the spirulina flakes to every tank in here, just to get some fish do better at it. Some fish don't. I mean the krill flake, the krill flake, everybody destroys. Everybody attacks. No issues there. But I do like to vary up the diet and kind of try to get some green in their systems, some algae in their systems. So let's go ahead and we're gonna feed a few tanks of this, and then we gotta head out to the waterfront. I got some equipment that we're taking them. So as Lewis is kind of still building things, and I need fish sometimes or some supplies, we kind of, if I have equipment that I'm not using, like today it's heaters. He asked for some heaters. I have a couple extra that I'm not using anymore. I will take them to him, give them to him, and then kind of trade them in for like a store credit kind of a thing. So it's good to work with him. And then, the other thing I also do on kind of a daily basis, sometimes. So I use the Fritz glass cleaner a lot down here. I don't always wipe off the front of the tanks. I'm more so like clean lids, right? So I'm using my polycarbonate lids. Sometimes they get a little dusty. So that's kind of what I like to focus on every day kind of a thing, is just general tasks and maintenance. But let's go ahead and feed some things, and then we'll get on the road. So one of the ways I really like to feed the extreme flake food, and I love flake food. I personally do. I love flake food in my fish room. I'll dump a small fair amount out into my hand. Let's see if we can't get like an image of that. So the consistency and the texture of these flake foods is really good. I mean, since I have smaller fry in the tank right now, I'll dump that out in my hand, and then I'll actually just kind of like squeeze it in my hand, crush it up, and then spread it around the tank. That way it kind of creates big flakes, medium flakes, small flakes for any fish in here. So I will actually do that around the entire room here as we're going around, as I will crush up the food. And it's even for like the only thing I don't is like my discus. Let me move you up here. Like, we're gonna feed the rams here next. That's kind of a bad shot, but all right, got my point, right? Crush it, feed it, move on. So let's finish. I'm gonna finish the fish room, and then we will run out to the waterfront. All right, now we're heading down to the waterfront now. We got a few things to go take over to Lewis. I think I'm gonna pick up some fish from him today. There are some other fish I was gonna go to live fish direct. I think I'm gonna wait for another like week or so before I actually pick those fish up, just make sure I can pay for everything. Yeah, so it's all in the day of a fish, breeder, right? So let's get on the road. So we're trying something here. Never done this before. I got the camera set up over here. Got a super wide angle lens on it right now, or the widest angle I have. Just because I knew I may be doing some vlog style stuff. So wasn't quite sure what was going to be the best here. Probably pretty blown out. But yeah, we're doing it here. Oh, it looks so much better now. All right, let's go to the waterfront. So figured maybe we kind of chat while we're on the way there. It probably was going to extend the video time. I hope my microphone's on. It would suck if it wasn't. If I got pulled over right now, wouldn't it be kind of cool? Sir, what are you doing? I'm making YouTube, man. It's all about the content. No, so I don't go to the waterfront daily. It's not one of the daily tasks, but I figure since I'm doing a video on like a day of a fish breeder, I might as well take you along for the ride. So we're gonna head out there. It's probably about 30 minutes away, really. I can probably make it there in about 20. I like to drive fast. I can't say much because I do drive a Prius. If you guys didn't know that, yes, I drive a Prius. My wife had it when we first got married, and it was almost paid off. So I used to commute over an hour to work one way almost every day. So I kept it now that it's paid off. I'm not willing to go trade in a car that I have paid off that runs perfectly right now. But yeah, so today we're gonna go to the waterfront. I'm taking Lewis some heaters, and he's got some cichlid fry for me. We're gonna start playing with some cichlids in the fish room, try and breed those out. I know I want to offer them up on the our fish collective that Guppy Guru's put together, and it's also just something new for me to keep in the fish room. So kind of some experimentations, because I don't have a large fish room. I don't have the space to add in 55-gallon tanks, 75-gallon tanks. I really only have like the largest I have in there is the 20-gallon tank. So we're curious to see what we're gonna do there. Oh, I do need to go to the UPS store. Glad I remembered that. Thank you for reminding me, everybody. So we're actually gonna go to the UPS store first? ? Yes, we're gonna go to the UPS store first. That's kind of opposite of everywhere else I'm going, and hopefully this is picking up. Like, hopefully I got doing this. Hopefully the audio's picking up, because it's a hot day. So I turned my AC down, but now I'm like slowly creeping it back up, because man, us husky people, we need the AC, I tell you. But one of the biggest changes I am making in the fish room is I was going to do a plant for profit tank. I was gonna grow out some like Rotalia, maybe some Pogostemon, but I think that's actually what we're taking back to UPS, is to ship back to Amazon, is the CO2 regulator I was gonna use. I'm I don't know if I want to go down the road of plant for profit yet. I think, I mean, I could do well at it. I mean, Lewis is telling me that like he could sell easy plants. I know with the, you know, our fish collective, I could sell some easy plant grab bags there. I think I can still kind of combine some things in to where if I use like terracotta pots, I can put some Ritalia in those, put the Ritalia, you know, in the terracotta pots in other tanks, grow it out, and maybe occasionally offer up kind of like a grab bag kind of a thing. And, you know, the pogo stamon's already growing wild anyways. And if I can get like mosses growing, I can offer that up. If I can grow out some like guppy grass in the tanks, I can get that up. I mean, I have, you know, the rice fish tubs I can float stuff in to grow. So I kind of thought about it, and I just didn't really want to, I don't want to say invest, but invest in setting up just a very specific plant for profit tank where I could use that 20 gallon as another grow out tank or another tank for a pair of, you know, cichlids or something like that. And, you know, so that's where I kind of landed on right now, is I'm not going to necessarily do the plant for profit tank, but I can still grow plants in the fish room. I could probably put the Ritalia in with my Egyptian mouth brooders, excuse me, and grow plenty of those there. So I think that's what we're gonna do. So yeah, it just changes, right? We always kind of got to roll with the punches, roll with what I'm changing. It'll be good. I think this is gonna work out well. So I know I still want to get some female red empress. I'm going to put those in with my male. That was what I was going to pick up from the live fish direct today, but I think I'm going to wait for like another 2 weeks or something before I do that, just to kind of see where things take me, make sure I can pay for everything. It is my the portion I'm filming this video on, like the day I'm filming all this, my 5-year anniversary with my wife was like 2 weeks ago, and we're trying to get away on this weekend, so I think she's kind of mad at me if I bought all the fish stuff and then couldn't take her out to dinner, but we'll see where we go with that. But what else we got? So yeah, so I think Lewis, he's got some like OB fry, some, how did he tell me? I don't know, don't do this while you're driving, everybody. Man, I said a bad example on the YouTubes. Let me see what I can, never mind. We'll figure it out, we'll tell you. Well, so we're gonna go UPS store really quick, take care of that, we'll head out to the waterfront, and then we'll chat further from there on actually what fish we're picking up. I'm excited. I don't know how many he has for me, actually. All we talked about was he's got some fry available, and I do like starting out with fry personally. Sometimes, not all the time. I've definitely bought pairs of fish and all that and haven't had any issues with them, but I think just buying fry and raising them out, I can, you know, get them more acclimated to my water, my feeding schedule, my food, and I've had better success that way. Like my longfin lemon blue eye plecos. There's a reason I bought 6 of those as fry, in a more juvenile state actually, is that I would love to have bought a pair and immediately started cranking fish out, but I've enjoyed the process of growing them out. I do have a pair of bristle nose, just regular bristle nose. I have one large male and one albino fish. So I keep reaching over to grab the tripod because I don't want my camera to smack my dashboard or anything. But I do have like a large bristle nose. I have the large albino female, and they've given me fry before, so I'm hoping to do more with those. But I think I bought those guys like 2 years ago, maybe now. They just kind of have grown out in my tanks. So I'm hoping to move them. I think once I get them, I think I'm actually going to move them to like a 10-gallon tank, maybe a 20 long. I think once I get them out of the 20 high they're in, I'll see some better results from them. All these things in a day of the life of a fish keeper, right? So batteries flashing at me. I got one in the backpack with me, but we're almost to UPS. We're gonna do this and then we'll head out to the waterfront. All right, so we made it to the waterfront. We are here. Hope the microphone's on. I have no idea kind of what Lewis has got right now. Wow, that's so blown out. Hang on. Oh my gosh. Turn that down. Okay, so yeah, we're here at the waterfront. I have no idea what Lewis has going on in the shop right now. I really don't know how many people are here. He looks fairly busy according to the parking lot. So I do want to vlog while I'm here. It's just all going to depend on how many people he has in shop. I'm very particular. I really like to give people their privacy and that kind of a thing. But if it's just Lewis in there, we'll do some vlog style here. So made it to the waterfront. We're here at the waterfront, kind of hanging around here with Lewis. Fortunate again, I always seem to land here when I'm the only person here. So I didn't really have a tripod with me, just bringing the camera in, so it may be a little shaky. I don't know, we're just gonna run with it kind of right now. So I am picking up some fish from him. He's got some cichlid fry sent it home with me, working on breeding those out. And then he had some like random fish, like endlers and stuff he's looking to clear out. So we're taking on some endlers, kind of add those to our colony. But let me show you the coolest thing here now that Lewis just brought in. Okay, so let me show you. Let me flip the camera around here. Check these fish out. Check these fish out. This is seriously as big as my hand. This red melon right here, or what is it called? Mystic red, excuse me, mystic red. Like, thing is massive. Now here's the best part about this. All of these discus, everything is bred in tap water. These are locally bred in Utah in full tap water. So, expensive fish, but these things are monsters. Absolutely incredible discus at the waterfront right now. I'm super happy for Lewis that he found a guy in Utah that is locally breeding these in Utah, in tap water, like high pH, high hardness, and just, God, these fish are amazing. So I'm kind of running around some things here. We still got a super nice flower horn. Oh, that's really blown out, hang on. Really nice flower horn, still got some nice cichlids up here. And then we'll drive these back there. So we're just kind of hanging out here for a bit. Not doing anything too crazy right now. Just hanging out, chatting with Lewis. You know, it's just part of the day of being a fish breeder, in my opinion, right? Is I'm not here every day, but I am here often enough that I just wanted to kind of come catch you up on the waterfront right now. So I'm dropping some equipment off to him, picking up some fish from him, and then we still got to make a couple more stops. But it's been good so far. Like, guys, if you're local, come check out the waterfront. And then of course we got to say hello to my boy. So he has Sergeant. Sergeant's doing great, loving the life here in the store. So he's kind of the new store mascot in kind of a way. But so really happy with everything Lewis is. Really happy with everything Lewis is doing here. He's doing great work here. He's expanding already. The website's coming soon, so yeah, if you guys want to, follow him on Facebook, follow him on Instagram. You can kind of see all the stories of the new fish he's bringing in, but all in the day of a fish breeder, right? We're just working on new fish, new things. So we're gonna finish up here, head back to the fish room, because we do have some things we gotta work on in the fish room to get ready. So we are back from the waterfront. We're back down in the fish room, as you can see, and it's about 6:45 at night now. And we've been on and off in the fish room today since about 8:30 this morning, almost like maybe 9 o'clock, between 8:30 and 9 o'clock this morning. So I haven't been down here all day, but you can kind of tell we've been down here periodically throughout the day. So what I'm down here for now, and again, this isn't always like the day-to-day thing, but it's just a day in a day. Anyways, so we got some new fish from Lewis from the waterfront. He hooked us up with some new fish. He had some kind of, here, let me show you actually. Let me kind of talk about what we're doing here. So he had this really pretty red endler, just a lone male in the tank left that somebody left at the store. Really pretty endler. And I figured, as much as I want to keep my blue star endlers, my red chest endlers strain as pure as possible, that tank of wild type endlers that I picked up from him, I figured I'll just toss this red male in there, just kind of see what happens, right? He's a gorgeous fish with a really nice tail on him. Really vibrant red fish. So we're gonna head and we're gonna float this guy over in that tank, kind of get some temperature acclimation going. And what's nice too though is, like, because I heat the room, I put the bags in here for a little bit too, so they're kind of already at temperature, well, just in case. And then we actually got another endler from Lewis today. It's more of a sky blue endler. Again, really pretty fish. It's another single male that just kind of got left at the store, and Lewis again was like, do you just want to take it? So I figured we're going to add this guy as well to the wild type endler tank. Just kind of see what happens, right? Like, I'm not so as worried about that strain as much as I just want to produce some endlers from it. So I think it might be kind of cool to mix in just a red and a blue endler in there. So we're going to float that bag as well. And then he had 3 Harlequin rasboras and a Siamese algae eater. Again, they all came to the store for free. Somebody dropped them off, and he just kind of needed the tank space. So he knew that this tank behind us here, we have a bunch of Harlequin reservoirs in it already. So we're gonna add 3 more to the school, and we'll add the Siamese algae eating fish in there. It'll help with any kind of thing we've got funky going on in there. Actually, I may add the Siamese algae eater tank down here to the Egyptian mouth brooder tank. That thing's getting a lot of algae on it right now, so we'll see where we're at. But yeah, so some new fish. Maybe we're gonna quarantine these fish a little separately, kind of separately from everything else. So I think they're actually gonna come hang out down in this tank, and then I will show you. The mother bag. So here's one of the coolest things about Lewis in the Waterfront is when he has these monster bags. He's used to dealing with big fish. He understands the space that big fish are gonna need. So he ships, like, well, I guess we're working on shipping fish, but he's packaging his fish to send home just in this really nice, big, heavy, thick bag. Does an excellent job with all of his fish. And these are, I don't even know how many he gave me, to be honest with you. What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, maybe like 12. Is it 3 different types? For sure 2 different types of cichlids. So we're starting a new project in the fish room and breeding some cichlids. So he had some fry that a friend of his dropped off at the store, and he asked me if I wanted to take them and get started raising here in the fish room. So we're gonna go ahead and acclimate these guys. Oh, that's gonna be a big bag to float. Hang on here. I'll show you what we're working with. We may have to acclimate these guys a little differently, because that's going to push out a lot of water. Alright. So yeah, the auto water change, well, not really auto water change, since it's not necessarily changing water on purpose, but because we got the bags floating down here and all the tanks that we're going to be doing here. Let me hurry and just actually pull you off the tripod. Let's just do that. Alright. So a lot of vlog style filming today, I know. Alright, so we got a few things we got to work on here in the fish room. So we got cichlids floating. Both endlers are going to go over there. And I think, you know what we're actually going to do? We're going to quarantine all of these fish together in this 10-gallon tank. And then we'll grow the cichlids out over here. And then, this is the tank I was talking about doing the Plants for Profit tank in. That tank is just going to strictly go back, or just kind of go to a grow out tank, even just grow some cichlids in there. Special purpose for this tank, and then we're working on some things. I want to add another cichlid up to this tank, move the bristlenose out of here. So we got some things we got to work on tonight in terms of moving some fish around, but then more importantly, I have these 2 10-gallon tanks up here that need sponge filters in them. And then I've got these 2 20 gallons that I need to get more bulkheads for. I don't know if we're going to get this one up and running tonight. We may try and get one of them up and running, because we actually have some new fish landing this week. And these 2 tanks are kind of more specifically set aside for that. And then we may end up shuffling some fish out around here. So yeah, we definitely have to get some tanks for sure set up to receive some fish. So I'm going to put you guys... I may put you guys back up on the tripod. We'll kind of see, but so yeah. So I got some work I got to get done here. But again, this is kind of preparations in the fish room. This is part of the day in the fish room. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. I may throw a time lapse up. We'll see what happens. All right, so we're back working on things. You can probably hear the bubbles going. It's a fish room, guys. It is what it is. But got a couple things done. It's hot down here though. Where are we at right now? 77 degrees and 43% humidity. Now it's only 77 degrees because I have the door to the fish room open right now as I'm working in here. But usually this is running about like 80 degrees in here. So it keeps all the tanks at a steady, even, consistent temperature. But a couple things we got done, and I have something I want to show you as we're kind of working in the fish room, kind of something how the way I add plants. But oh, check this out, check this out, check this out. Oh my gosh, guys, I think it's finally gonna happen. Oh my gosh. All right, hang on, calm down. I know, bad angle, you're gonna see all the blur. Okay, the male ram and one of the females, let me get my finger out of the way. They were literally, so I got 2 females and a male in there right now. They're very back. I think they're finally gonna spawn. Get that female that just ran up to the front of the glass. She's pushing that other female away from both terracotta pots and both stones I have in there. Oh my gosh. that would be epic. Ooh, blown out. Hang on. Yeah, that would be amazing if we could have that happen. If we could get some rams breeding down here again, like, again, first time breeding. God, I'm so hoping. Oh, I'm so hoping. All right, back to what we're doing. So, I was going to get this 20-gallon long set up, but of course I ran out of the connector I need to actually attach to the bulkhead to run the auto water line, or at least run the drain line to the tank. So I installed this new manifold. Honestly, I ran a little short on my pipe, so I just zip tied it up to this. So my fish room's built off zip ties. These are all the metal air valves. I installed it into the main air system, so it's just all connected, and then I can run air from these down to specifically this 10-gallon tank. And you're probably wondering why I have 5 air valves ready to go for one 10-gallon tank. The reason is I'm going to be doing egg tumbling in here. So, like that video we used where we pulled out this egg tumbler for the zebra pleco eggs, that's going to get installed in this 10-gallon tank here. I just have the air stone running just to kind of circulate water, but I'm going to keep this tank as sterile as possible. So I got that installed tonight. I got a video coming out on showing you how to actually build this. And then up here we got sponge filters installed on both of these 10-gallon tanks. So we're getting ready for some fish coming in. And then because I actually didn't have any exclusively cycled sponge filters, I added a bag of bio rings to the tank right now because that is a brand new sponge filter. So add some bio rings to get some things ready there. But then probably kind of the next thing, there's all the swordtail fry, a bunch of endler fry. Love this fish room. But then one of the biggest things we're going to work on tonight though is we just got in all of these guys. So these are all the, well yeah, I just did the embagging with you guys. We just literally shoved these on the back. So I want some greenery in this tank. I'm sure the cyclage is going to rip it up, but we're going to try it. And then I do want to get some plants up in this tank. So I want to take you through my process of that. Oh my gosh, I think we're seriously going to get a spawn. This would be the best thing ever if I could catch that on film. Oh my gosh, this is going to be amazing. All right, so we're going to get to work in here, but I want to show you how I'm actually going to add plants to these 2 tanks. All right, so I want to show you a way how we're going to add some plants to some tanks. And this is not new technology, it honestly isn't, but it's a way to add some greenery to some tanks that are bare bottom. And that's what I have in like every tank in here, but what, 2? Every tank in here but 2 is a bare bottom tank. And for those, like even the one that has sand is my multi-tank, I still have a terracotta pot in there with some balasinaria in there. So I have some Ritalia floating around. I got plenty of Pogostemon that I need to do something with. And I like this idea because what you can do is you can line the inside here with like a paper towel, newspaper if you want to. But what I like to do is I'll take more of a coarser gravel, or coarser, just larger gravel. And I'll actually line the bottom of these first. And I did pre-rinse most of this. You're going to get some dust that's going to come off in the water. I'm not too worried about it, to be honest with you. So just a little bit there. So you line the bottoms of these with some larger rocks. And then I think what I'm going to do, just to make sure plants that are a root feeder, just even to help them, and you can do this occasionally, but to start off, we're going to add in some easy root tabs. And these are the Aquarium Co-Op easy root tabs. Just to this, between this first layer, and we'll drop like 2 in each one here. And I'm not worried about like placement. I really am not, because the roots of the plants, you're going to find it no matter what. And then what we're going to do is I have this mixture that just kind of came to be of really some finer gravel, some sand, and some Eco-Complete that just kind of came out of different tanks over time, and I just kept it. So I'm going to cap that gravel with this, and that way what this is going to do is just allow me to plant roots much easier this way, and it's still going to help keep some nutrients in this as the roots of the plants are going to push through the sand, push the Eco-Complete down into that coarser or the larger gravel area. So we're just going to cap that off. So this is a bunch of Ritalia Colorado that I got from Jared with H2O Aquarium Services when I went and visited his fish room. Epic tour, absolutely epic tour. And it lost a lot of its pink coloration because it just doesn't doesn't get the light it needs anymore, and it's kind of been floating. So we're gonna, well, it has been floating, not kind of. So we're gonna split this up into these 2 pots, so I can really use this plant so it doesn't go to waste anymore. I had this planted in that floating 5-gallon tank when we started it, and it grew and grew and grew and grew so fast. So what this does now is this gives an excellent base and just area for the roots of these plants to really grow without having to have a full, substrate bed in the tank kind of a thing. So you can maintenance a little easier. And then this is still something like if I grow so much of this, I can still make trimmings. I can fill this pot out with it. I can sell trimmings. And it's super, super easy to add into the tank. And there's a fly in my fish room, and it is going to die. So again, this is the tank that I have literally all the fish we just got from the waterfront. Everything's in here right now. So the cichlids are all in with the 2 endlers and a couple rasboras. They'll be all right for the couple days. The cichlids aren't huge yet. Yes, they still have a lot of aggression. But now we're just going to add this in here. And hopefully what this will do is just kind of add an area for some fry to hide in even. Just kind of an area where the endlers get away to. And just add some greenery to this tank. And it's also going to help, with like the nitrogen cycle. It's going to eat up nitrates out of the water. So there's definitely some benefit of having a plant in here. And because I don't have substrate, I can't always add just plants. So we have that one in. So we're going to go ahead and get the other planter pot set up in the top 10-gallon tank just to get that one ready. And again, these are literally just terracotta pots from your local hardware store. That's all this is. So very cheap setup, very easy way to get plants in the tank. And I'm curious to see how long these plants last with the cichlids. Hopefully they make it make it some time and different things. But if absolutely necessary, I can move it out. But like over here in this endler tank, this is some Pogo Stamon stellatus octopus from the Aquarium Co-op growing. Same setup. That one actually is just all the large rock, and as you can see, it's doing quite well. We got stuff like that kind of all over the fish room actually. So there's the multi-tank. They tipped over the pot, some Vallisneria growing. I just added some root tabs to this one up here. That's that Hygrophila pinnapettata from Because Your Fish. That definitely needed some help. So hopefully with the root tabs there, that will grow better. But then my favorite is down here. Look at that Vallisneria in that pot, and that's just some finer gravel, and that val has gone bonkers down here. This all came from Guppy Guru, put a big thing in there, and then this side over here is a big runoff of it. So, yes. What else did I do? Oh, we also got the auto water change made up, which you really can't see up there. So these 2 tanks are now officially on auto water change. So we're moving. We're moving along. So like I say, this isn't, everything I've done today isn't necessarily all the daily tasks, but it's still a day, like a day in the life of an amateur fish breeder. So what time are we at now? Time of filming this is 8:30. Now, I've still got some work to do, and what now is next is the 3rd and final feeding for the day. This is where I do the baby brine shrimp. So we're gonna go ahead and clean up in here really quick. I'm probably gonna go put my daughter to bed, and then we will come back down and we will do the brine shrimp, and I'll take you through that entire process. So now we're past that 8:30 mark, and this is kind of where I do one of my final feedings of the night, and that's where we come back to the baby brine shrimp we've been hatching for the last 24 hours. Now, everything you've seen today, I would say 80% of it is a daily duty. Things like going to the waterfront and getting new fish doesn't always happen daily, but trying to feed 3 times a day does. Checking fish, medicating fish if needs be, putting fish in quarantine if needs be, moving fish around, adding plants. Like, there's always just little things to do throughout the day that make my fish room better and just operate better, right? Because I'm just trying to, you make some tidy adjustments throughout the day. So back to the brine shrimp. I purposely feed mine at night. Because it allows me to do it on a daily basis very consistently with my work schedule. And on the days I work, I'm typically up between 4:30, 4:45 to get to work on time. So I don't necessarily have the time to come down, feed the brine shrimp, reset the brine shrimp. So I do it at night. It allows me to feed it, reset it, and we're gonna go through that process here. I know this has turned into a long video, but I really wanted to give you guys an inside look on what you may potentially, I mean, you can adjust tasks and duties, right? But this is an inside look of what you may do with a fish room of 30 tanks. So let's go ahead and take care of the brine shrimp, and we'll go from there. So to do this, I'm going to turn off the air. That's where I have this separate valve connected to it. And shut off that air completely. And then I have, let me pull you down here a little bit. Okay, that should work. So now I have this extendable LED light. It just clips over here on, it works out perfectly. This is my shelving system. It clips on. Run that over, kind of rest it right underneath the Brine hatchery, and I turn that light on. And what that's going to do is pull all the brine shrimp down to the bottom of this cone so I can drain them, and then I'm going to go wash it through the sieve and get it ready to feed. So I want to take you through that process. Now that we got all the brine shrimp, and we're in my one of my upstairs bathrooms, it's gonna be a little echoey in here. Now that we got all the brine shrimp drained out of the actual hatchery, we're gonna run it through this brine shrimp sieve to rinse the brine shrimp in essence. Master Breeder Dean has a really good video on this, doing all this. I wet my sieve down first, and you literally just dump this through. So what this does is this allows me to catch all the brine shrimp while letting the water through, and this allows me to then rinse the brine shrimp. Master Breeder Dean makes a really good point of, it's not so much the salt that I'm worried about, it's the fact that these brine shrimp have been excreting in this water, and just don't want to cause anything. So it's kind of one of those things of, yes, I do this because I saw someone else do this, but I also go on the basis of the person I saw this from is a lot smarter than me. So now I got the raw brine shrimp in here in the sieve. Let's go ahead and rinse them a little bit, let that water run through them, and then I'm just going to dump it right back into my specimen containers that I used to feed. So fill it up, dump it in, fill it up, kind of rinse this out a little bit to allow me to get all the brine shrimp back in here. Rinse my sieve off, all that off, and then I just add a little bit of water to that, and that is some freshly hatched, ready to feed baby brine shrimp. So let's go ahead and go and feed the brine shrimp now. So now that we got the freshly hatched, just liquid gold brine shrimp, this thing has been a superfood for my fish room. I like to feed with these small, what is these, 3mm pipettes. Super easy, it sucks up this brine shrimp, allows me to feed tanks really quickly. And then, so we're gonna go feed probably 99% of the tanks in the fish room now for the third feeding today with the baby brine. Things like the discus, the cichlid and the plecos, the zebra plecos. I don't necessarily feed a lot of baby brine too, just because they are adult fish, but it's still, I like to add it in there to help the fish understand that there is food for babies if they make them. So like the ram tank, right? We're definitely feeding some baby brine over here tonight. Really try and trigger that spawning action tonight. And then like if you got a brand new tank, maybe like I may seed this new tank we set up tonight. I mean, I put a bag of biomeat in there, but I may spread a little bit in there just to kind of jumpstart a little bit. But we're gonna go ahead now and just kind of feed all the tanks. After 9 o'clock now, and everything is taking longer because I'm filming it, but we just got done feeding up the baby brine shrimp to all the tanks. You probably saw some things like my Limia perugiae. I did feed fairly heavy on the baby brine shrimp, And my reasoning for that is I have fry in that tank, which I hope kind of caught on the footage. They love to hide up in the moss, but I want to ensure that all the fry are getting the proper nutrition that they're able to eat. And then with my auto water change system, I'm not worried about water parameters and that kind of a thing, because I do, kind of pick a rack daily to do some water changes on. So it's a fairly good process I have down here. Now to finish up, we're almost done for the night. To finish up the third feeding and the kind of the final feeding, I have some plecos and like the discus, the red empress cichlid. I like to target feed a little better, particularly, and the snails. Can't forget Lavnia snails. I like to feed some wafers. So the two I have, so I actually have 3 options that I like to feed to these guys. And the first one is definitely going to be the extreme cat scrapers, they call them. I think they may have changed the name of these now, like a sinking wafer, that kind of a thing. Just a really good all-around food, actually. And this is actually one of my favorite foods to even feed. Oh, come on, focus on that. There we go. It's actually one of my favorite foods to even feed to fry, because it allows them to kind of pick at it for an extended period of time. But then the plecos go after this. Things like my zebra plecos that do require maybe a little more protein in their diet, we feed the Hikari sinking carnivore pellets too. This is also just a really good, more of a sinking pellet to feed, like my discus, the cichlid, and then definitely for like the snails. The snails go crazy for the extreme too. But then I bring in also the algae wafers. I just have, I have the mini algae wafers here right now that I feed. But any wafer, what's your fish like, what they do. Tonight specifically though, I think we are just gonna feed some of the extreme cat scrapers around. So particularly to like the tank behind the camera where I have my longfin lemon blue eyes too. I'll feed a couple pellets or wafers to that tank to really target feed that. I'll drop a couple here, and actually we're gonna feed the discus something else entirely. I got a bunch of adult bristlenose up in this tank over here, so we'll feed that out really quick. And then I'll drop a couple into the snail tank here really quick. And then let me show you what I like to feed my discus, more on like a regular basis too. And it's maybe kind of surprising to some people, but it's the Tetra color granules. I've had really good success. There we go. I've had really good success feeding this food to my fish. I really have. I bought this on a suggestion from Bob Steenfot Aquatics. He will find Amazon deals. He posted this up, and I got it for super cheap. And I've always kind of been like, yeah, but it's Tetra. But no, like this is actually one of my a great food for my discus, and it's also, as I'm looking around to sort of put it, but it's also a really good food. Surprisingly, my zebra plecos go after it. My yellow zebra plecos. So we'll drop some granules in there. The zebra plecos really don't come out and eat. It's after dark kind of a thing, but so that's kind of it. That's gonna wrap up kind of the feeding for the day, and then throughout the week I rotate in frozen foods as well. So I definitely make sure to feed like the zebra pleco some bloodworms. The discus get bloodworms. I feed some bloodworms to the rams occasionally. I like to feed the frozen mice or the frozen brine shrimp, baby brine shrimp, Daphnia, all cyclops, all that kind of thing across the fish room. So now that we've finished the third feeding for the day in the fish room, we have one more task we have to do that I always end my day off with, and that is resetting the Zis brine shrimp hatchery. So let's go ahead and go do that. All right, so one of the reasons why I love this hatchery so much is it's so simple to clean, reset. So we just detached the air line from the air valve that controls how much air is going into this. We're just up in my kitchen, so I'm just gonna go ahead and just rinse off this lid, rinse off the air stone, and this is just regular tap water. I'm not doing anything crazy. I'm not using like, oh, you have to use tank water. No, this is literally just tap water. And then we're just gonna dump out the remainder of all the crud in here, shells, unhatched eggs, and literally we're just gonna rinse it. I'm literally just gonna rinse this with tap water, rinse it out a couple times. And here's the shocking part to this as well, turn that off, is I'm literally filling this up with just straight tap water. It's more like lukewarm, and that's all I do. I don't use like distilled water. I don't use like you know, dechlorinated water. I literally just use straight tap water and gotta fill it to there. And what's fun about this too is I've done this so many times, you can see like the egg line. So we're gonna go now back downstairs and go reset this. So now that we have the hatchery brought back downstairs, filled with water, we're gonna reconnect the air line back up to the air valve, get the air going again. And I've noticed that I have good hatch rates, like better hatch rates with a decent amount of airflow in this. I'm not afraid of high airflow. Not rocketing out to the top by any means, but I've got some decent flow going through this. Now, I personally am using the air stone with this that came with it. I know Corey doesn't, so you don't have to. You just need some air to make the water turbulent, to turn over the water, however you want to do it. But now we're going to add our salt, and I love this little hatching station kind of created here. Let me see if I can kind of show you what I'm working with here. Pretty little genius system I got down here. So I found a paper towel holder, so I'm using these in the fish room a lot. Sieve, spoon for spooning out the eggs, salt, and then I found these coffee clips, these tablespoons that have these little clips on them, so I can literally just clip it right to the edge of everything. But enough of me geeking out over that. Let's show you how I actively now set this back up. So because my tap water already has such a high pH, I don't worry about buffering my water at all. If you're in an area with low pH, you may need to. I could buffer mine. I get such good hatch rates already that I don't need to. Now the big thing is adding, I just use regular rock salt, but this is, it's like a 40-pound bag at Home Depot for like $4 that you really would use in like a water softener. It just has no additives whatsoever. So I just kind of scoop enough out into this small container to keep over here when I need it. But it's like 40 pounds for $4. It's super cheap. So with the amount, I could fill this up higher and I could hatch more brine shrimp in this. This is what I use in my fish room and it's what works for me. So it's about 4 tablespoons. I think that's what this is. And I say about 4 because I honestly do like 1 kind of full scoop, 2-ish full scoops, like 3-ish full scoops, and then 4 kind of like half-ish scoop. And I know this top part is actually to where you can insert a heater into this. I don't because I heat the whole fish room. So it just is, it's a perfect little spot for me to put, you know, the salt into. And then I'm waiting for Aquarium Co-Op to get his eggs out. I'm super excited for his eggs, but for the time being, I buy mine from Brine Shrimp Direct. It's a local company to me here in Utah. I've had fantastic results from their eggs. I am using the premium grade, so it is a higher hatch rate egg, very well priced, and this jar is gonna last me a long time. Now, a lot of people are gonna say you need to keep your eggs refrigerated, all that kind of a thing. I'm looking into it. I know there's some mini fridges out there. I'm thinking about adding one to the fish room, but right now it's not my priority, and I could split this out into smaller jars and then freeze the rest of this, but so far I haven't had to run into any issues with this, so we're just gonna keep doing it because, I mean, why fix what's not broke, right? So then I use the included scoop that they send, and I honestly don't even know how big of a scoop is this. Let me see if I can find this here. Half a teaspoon. So I think this little scoop's like a half a teaspoon. I do 3. And I know that I could push this hatcher to probably double of what I'm doing, especially if I filled it up all the way and maybe, but I don't need that much brine shrimp. This is honestly what I need for my fish room and it works great for me. So that there kind of completes the day. We did it. That's it. That is an official day in the life of an amateur fish breeder. Now, like I say, there's numerous things we did today that's not always going to happen on a daily basis, but it was a full day. Full day working on the fish room. We got a lot of projects done. We got some new fish in the fish room, fed everything, you saw everything, water changes. So this is kind of what it takes to run a fish room. But it's also all the little knick-knack things you got to do too. I still have tanks to set up. I still got to scrub glass, scrub algae, and just different things like that. But it's I had a good time. I had a really good time making this video. and I know this is gonna be a long one. I know it's gonna be a long one, and yeah, everybody that made it to the end, you guys are awesome freaking rock stars, and I can't thank everybody enough for the support on my channel. It's really what gave me the drive to want to put together a video like this to kind of up my quality, but show you a lot of behind the scenes that what goes into running this fish room. So again, thank you so much for everybody joining me. Any questions, leave me a comment below. Any suggestions, leave me a comment below. Just give me a comment. You know, what's the number one thing you dislike doing in your fish room? I'm always curious to see what kind of everybody's pet peeves is. For me personally, it's cleaning filters. I hate pulling filters out to clean them. It's a necessary thing. So I do that about monthly. The hang on the back filters in the fish room probably get serviced every 2 weeks, kind of a thing. But always curious. Hope everyone's doing well. On your way out, give me a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and make sure to keep your tanks well done.